right, Stu. Thank you so much for getting in touch with me. And you just had a sighting.
I did 2 days ago.
Yeah. First of all, can you say where are you located?
Certainly. So I'm located in a village called Hullbridge, which is in Essex, the county of Essex, which is around about 30 miles outside of London, down on the south east coast of the UK.
So so you were outside. Let's hear what happened.
Okay, so we've got a little cottage here, small holding, a couple of acres, and it was about 9:50, and my wife was doing her horses in the evening, and I thought I'd go out and give her a hand like I usually do, doing the waters, and she was doing all the hays. And when I'm out there, I'm fascinated by the sky anyway, so I'm always looking up and about, and I looked to my right, up in the sky, and it's the strangest thing to say, but it was almost as if I was not told to look, but I was drawn to look up there. And as I look up there, I see a shape that can only describe a cross between a boomerang, a triangle, and we have a chocolate over here called a Terry's chocolate orange, which has orange segments to it, almost this kind of a shape. And it was like that. Now, the sky was super clear, but it was like a dark blue hue because the moon was quite bright. This shape stood out against it because it was so black. But within the shape itself were hundreds and hundreds of small lights. Now, this is the really weird thing. Being a detailer, the first thing for some reason I thought was, well, those lights aren't very bright. And, you know, what are they doing? And they were flickering literally on and off, almost as if glitching, but random like this, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them within the shape itself. The shape was moving the second I saw it. The object was moving the second I saw it. I screamed at my wife to say, look, 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 look. And while she's looking around trying to catch it, I couldn't take my eyes off it. And literally, I had my hand in my pocket on my phone, and I'm thinking, almost like what you say in one of your podcasts, I can't risk taking my phone out of my pocket, because if I take my eye off it, it's going to do something. So I just put my eye on it while saying to my wife, it's there, it's there. And it came across us as silent, with all these stars and lights going on it. And then it almost like changed shape to a point, almost like it looked like a giant kind of a kite, still with angular edges, a kite. And then it changed back into its shape again of this boomerang, and it continued directly in front of me with all these lights going. But it was so presented against the night sky, it was so clear. I mean, it was just so clear. And then we just watched it disappear off, float in front of us. And then it did a curve to the right, and then it just carried on and carried on and carried on. And you could see the outline. Suddenly the lights were now the outline of it, and the ones in the middle were starting to fade even more, almost as if it couldn't quite work out how bright to be, or the color. It couldn't get the color correctly, as if it was trying to cloak itself or something, but it just couldn't do it. It just couldn't do it. But it was silent, and it didn't speed off. It was one speed, but it just reminded me of a cartoon, or no, a ghost floating by, like you see on movie. Just silent, and it did this, and then it was gone.
Now, did it never change speed at all?
It never changed speed at all. And the other thing, it was silent. Not only the craft was silent, but the atmosphere, as it was going on, with me shouting. Oh, sorry, excuse me. With me shouting.
That music's actually perfect for this. Yeah.
Okay. But the atmosphere, I heard nothing else other than me talking to my wife. There was no other noises. It was silent. And I know it was quite a quiet night, but there was nothing. It was eerily quiet. But one of my horses freaked out. Just freaked out. Wow. Didn't like it. A very sensitive horse. Just did not like it. Knew something was up and went to its stables.
So the horse was freaking out. That is really an amazing story. Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
Us. And for the people that are watching the full video, we're going to get into a past sighting that you had.
Yes. So my interest in UFOs is UFOs, whatever you call them, anomalies, has been over many years, since I was around about 14 years old. When I had a sighting, and it was actually, I won't say who, but a family member saw something. We were sitting at the table for dinner, and family member literally, whose would not react like this at all, literally shouted for us to look at something in the garden. My other two brothers didn't move. I got up like a whippet and got outside as fast as I could, just out of interest. Now, I remember it as being a silver metallic ball that was hovering above the garden and rotating, humming, almost like a chrome ball bearing. Now, there was a puppet show many years ago over here in the UK called Terrorhawks, of all things. And there were these little metal ball soldiers. One of them was voiced by a very famous actor over here called Windsor Davis. And immediately it made me think it's a Terrorhawks ball. It was like a chrome football rotating. Now, as it rotated, we watched it for a few minutes, and then it did this, just like that, out towards the estuary where we live, or where we used to live, literally like that. But it didn't vanish out. It didn't disappear. It just went. It just absolutely went. So the family member doesn't really like talking about it. But when I mentioned I was going to be coming on your show, I begged them, look, I'll ask one more time, please tell me what you remember. Now, they remember it exactly as I do, but from what they say, they thought it was more of a goldish color as opposed to a silver color. And they thought it had like a burning hue around it, almost like a plasma hue that then faded out to then show it as a gold chrome style ball. But it did exactly the same move. They remember the movement, they remember the rotating, they remember the humming, exactly the same.
Wow. And what year would you say this was about?
Okay, so I would probably say about 1980, between 1986 and 1988. Yeah, because I was around about 13, 14 years old.
Well, as far as I know, they didn't have any craft that the government had probably at that point that would do something like that. That's a really bizarre.
It's a very strange thing. It's one of those things it's in your head. The second you've seen it, it's in your head forever. But for me, it was just so clear, and it could only have been about 50 feet above the ground. So we were really locked onto it. Really.
Any idea approximately the size of it?
Yeah, I would say probably the size of a beach ball.
Oh, small.
Old blow up beach ball. So
How
yeah,
about that?
about this size. This size. It hummed, and it was beautiful. And then it just went. It just went. So that kind of started my interest and fascination in the topic, really. And over the years, obviously, I've looked into it a lot. I was even fortunate enough at one point to have a friend that was to do with the RAF. And for years and years and years, I tried to twist his arm and find out anything, but nothing. He wouldn't tell me. But I could tell from the look in his eye there was something, but he just would never tell me because it's signed to the Official Secrets Act and things like that. And I respected that. But no matter how drunk we used to get him, he wouldn't tell me.
He wouldn't budge, huh? Yeah.
He wouldn't budge. But I can read people quite well, and I know when there's something. There's something there. But I search. And I've searched through so many YouTube videos, almost trying to search for the thing that we saw. And I found one video that is very, very similar. Again, a silver metallic ball that was doing this. And it was one movement. It wasn't darting around. It was there. It was humming. And then it was just gone. It was gone. It went quick. Really, really quick.
Yeah.
Really, really
now, I've heard of sightings where people have seen things that are spinning. Like, for instance, there was one in Russia where someone said it was about the size of a washing machine, and it was just sitting there spinning for like so long that the people got bored and went inside, and they got bored watching it, but they never saw it move off, and eventually it moved off. But yeah, it's strange, and it almost would seem like that would be some type of, now I may be going a little far out there, but some type of drone from another craft, possibly. I mean, who knows?
Now, the strange thing was with that sighting, it was quite exciting. Now, being back in the 80s, there was no internet or anything like this, so the only thing we had, the family member and I looked at the back of our local newspaper, and there was a little advert there. Have you seen anything strange? So we called this number, and the next thing you know, we had these three guys come around with clipboards and asking us everything to do with it, like absolutely everything.
Really?
Yeah, they were fascinated. This was back then. They were fascinated, and I was in school the next day telling everybody. No one was interested. No one was interested at all. But strangely enough, around about a year after that, a friend of mine who lives around about 8 miles away from me in a place called Hadley in Essex, he and his sister and the whole high street on a Saturday afternoon were stuck watching what they describe as a ice cream cone shape triangle in the sky, but with multicolours. This is in the day, so these colours were bright enough for them to see it, and the police even sent a helicopter up to have a look at it, and they said when the helicopter got near it, it went straight up like that.
Wow.
And that was the whole high street looking at that on a Saturday afternoon. And
Amazing.
this guy was one of the guys that was basically ridiculing me and having a go at me at school, saying, you know, don't be stupid. And he saw that, and the first person he phoned was me to say, you're not going to believe what we've just seen.
Did everyone go get ice cream after?
I don't know.
I don't know if you heard that last sighting that I had, but everyone went to get ice cream.
I'm not sure, but yeah. So yeah, but what was interesting after I'd seen this the second sighting the other night, I put on my Instagram because I was just so not in shock. I'll be honest with you. This is what I was saying. The difference between the first one, which was exciting to see when I was younger, this one, it was actually quite scary. The feeling I got afterwards was quite scary. There was a weird atmosphere. It was so real, so real. What I saw was so bizarre to see, so clear. I don't know. It just left me with a wow. Seriously, what was that? What was that? You know what I mean? It's a strange thing. And again, the horse freaked out, and yeah, it was odd.
Well, I bet you probably have to get back to car detailing. That's what you do. But anyway, thank you so much. Your phone's ringing off the hook there, but thank you so much. It's been a
pleasure.
It's been a real pleasure, and I do appreciate you sharing those great stories. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Martin.